Hi guys, Jimbo here, the driving test guy in New South Wales, helping you pass your New South Wales driving test first go, hopefully. Okay folks, so today's video is about stuff that you need to know for your driving test. Now, I get emailed and posted lots of questions, classically like, do I need to indicate out of a single lane roundabout? Do I have to push in at traffic lights when there's no arrow? And I answer those same questions 1,000 times, and I keep telling everybody the answers are in the video. However, I got an email from one of my viewers, Liam, and he had some different questions. And I thought they were great questions. And I think that you guys should also know the answer to these questions. Okay, folks, just before we continue with the video, just know I have all my videos all nicely collated on my website, www.thedrivingtestguynewsouthwales.com.au. There's also information there if you want to book driving lessons or a mock test with me. Please go to the website first to get all the information that you need. Okay, if you've watched my videos and I've made your life easier in passing your driving test and you would like to support this channel, you can go to the Buy Me a Coffee website. The link is in the description of this video below. It's also on my website, and you can buy me a coffee and help support this channel. And for those that already have, thank you for your support. Let's get back to the video. Now, the first question is, when queuing for the red light, can I queue in the left side street? Now, it doesn't have to be a traffic light up ahead. It can be anything where the traffic's queuing and there's a side street on the left. Can I queue in front of that side street? Okay, and there's no keep clear markings at all on the ground. So we'll address that. The second question is, when there is a bus lane to my left and the bus lane has solid lines, am I allowed to go into the bus lane if there's an emergency vehicle coming up behind me, like an ambulance, police with sirens on? Okay, so we'll address that. And the third question is, when a driver who has the right of way waves me on during the driving test, should I go or not? Now, we're going to address that when someone waves you on, and we're also going to address the phrase right of way. Okay, so let's get down to business.
Okay, so the situation is, you can see that in the diagram, there's a couple of blue cars that are queuing up at an intersection ahead. Now, that intersection could be traffic lights, it could be a T intersection where it's busy and that. Now, the question is, can we queue in this section here where the red car is?
So the road rules are quite clear on blocking intersections. Let's have a look at the relevant road rule.
According to Road Rules 2014 Regulation 128, it is an offence to drive into the intersection if you can't pass through it. Entering blocked intersections, a driver must not enter an intersection if the driver cannot drive through the intersection because the intersection or a road beyond the intersection is blocked.
So basically, this rule will pertain to all intersections. Really today, our question from Liam is about blocking a left side street. Now, I think it's important that we look at why we don't block the left side street if the traffic's queuing up in front. Let's have a look at the diagram on the screen now.
So, if the red car queues in the middle of the left side street, it prevents an opportunity for the car coming out of the side street to turn right. It also prevents an opportunity for the oncoming vehicle to turn right into the side street, and this will all add to traffic congestion. So what I suggest you do is wait here where the red car is now.
Now, the other reason you don't want to block an intersection on a driving test is purely you will get an F15 fail item. And that means you've got to come back and do it all again. And if you are an overseas driver trying to convert an overseas license, you are now on L plates. And that will suck. Okay, let's move on to Liam's second question. When there is a bus lane to my left and there's solid lines with the bus lane, am I allowed to go over those lines into the bus lane to avoid an emergency vehicle that has sirens on? The answer to this pretty much is yes. You can temporarily move out of the way of the emergency vehicle into the bus lane. However, you need to consider a few things. Is there a bus there? So you might want to look, put the indicator on, check over your shoulder, blind spot head check, is there a bus there? Because if you hit the bus, well, then they're going to have to order a second ambulance. So make sure it is safe to do so. But also, I would consider, is the emergency vehicle looking like they are going to go down the bus lane? Okay, so it's a bit to work out. But look, the bottom line is, yes, you would be allowed to temporarily, long as it's safe and reasonable, to move out of the way of the emergency vehicle into the bus lane temporarily. And then once the emergency vehicle has gone past, move back in again. Okay, I hope that's cleared that up. Okay, let's move on to the third and final question for today. When a driver who has the right of way waves me on during the driving test, should I go or not? Now, first things first, let's talk about the phrase right of way. Now, in our road law in this country, we don't talk in terms of people having right of way, even though that is a common thing people say. For example, A has got to give way to B, and that's how we talk about it. That's how we perceive the situation. We don't talk about it, B has right of way over A. Now, sometimes when teaching students, I find it helpful that we kind of do talk in terms of that. So sometimes I will say to my student who I'm teaching, yes, A gives way to B, so B's kind of got priority over A. Okay, sometimes that helps teaching students, who's going first, basically. Okay, so let's address the question of if someone on the road is waving us to go first, but normally we will need to give way to them, what do we do?
Now, the situation is we are the blue car at a T intersection intending to turn right. And you can see the red car with their right signal on is intending to turn right into our side street. And the red car has seen us as the poor L-plater struggling to make the right turn, and they decide to give us a hand. So they wave back and start waving us to go first.
But do not go. Should you go in this situation, you haven't given way to the person you're meant to give way to. And on a driving test, you now have an F2 fail item. And you don't want that. However, like all things in life, there are exceptions to the rule. There is a situation where you could go first, even though you're meant to give way to the other vehicle. So let's have a look at this situation with the next diagram.
So in this situation, we're the blue car again wanting to turn right, but there's a blue truck with their right signal on intending to turn right into our side street. Now the law says that we're meant to give way to that truck, but the problem is that truck cannot fit when it attempts to turn right with us where we are. So in this situation, he's going to wave you to go because he can't fit unless you go first.
So in this situation, it is actually okay to go first, even though you're meant to give way to the other vehicle. It gets down to the context. If the other person is just being nice and waving you, don't go. But in the example with the truck where that guy physically can't go, well then it is okay for you to go first. Always check that it's safe before you do so.
The same would apply if the truck is on your right-hand side and he wants to turn left into your side street and he can't fit. He will probably hang back, wave you to go first. Check that all the other areas are safe and then you can proceed. Just be careful doing this.
Now, this same situation can happen in car parks. It could be the driving test car park, and you're wanting to turn and you're trying to give way to the other vehicle, and the other vehicle may not be a semi-trailer, but it could be like a big Ram truck or a Ford One F50, and they can't fit. So they're waving you to go. Now, it's okay to go. There's no fail, assuming it's safe with the other places. In fact, it could be a fail if you don't go. If the examiner's got to tell you to go, because you haven't read the situation properly, it can be a fail. Anytime the examiner's got to help you out, you get an F6 fail item, and you don't want that. Okay, folks, so that's it for today. We've addressed 3 problem areas that could cause fails on your driving test and what you need to know to prevent that. The first one being whether we can queue in a side street. The second one being whether we can move into a bus lane to allow an emergency vehicle to go around us. And the third one being when we've got another person on the road that we're meant to give way to and they give us a wave to go first and how to deal with that. Okay, folks, so if you're new to the channel, please press the subscribe button, notification bell, and the like button. All that stuff really helps this channel. And always remember, stay safe.